Hello movie lovers. Today I'm going to explain a 2022 action-drama film called The Hidden Fox, directed by Lei Qiao. This film based on the 1959 novel named Fox Volant of the Snowy Mountain written by Jin Yang. So friends, get ready for spoiler ahead. At the beginning of the story, from a young age, many 100 years ago, very secret and expensive treasures were hidden in the middle of the mountains. We see ancient Chinese Empire during the winter of Tian Gui Nong, a corrupt monarch. King Gui Nong informed his warriors about a treasure concealed in a snow mountain one day. The location of the wealth may be determined using a map kept in an iron box guarded by a warrior named Hu Yi Dao. Hu Yi Dao is regarded as one of the most powerful fighters of his day, and the only person capable of defeating him was Miao Ren Feng. Tian Gui Nong plans to steal the treasure map from Yi Dao, but because he cannot fight Yi Dao, he kills him in a sneaky manner. King Gui Nong sent his troops, Dao Bai Sui and Bao Shu, to set Miao Ren Feng and Yi Dao against each other in order for them to fight. Dao Shu then instructed his men to murder Miao Ren Feng's wife and place her head in a box with a note that appeared to be written by Yi Dao. Miao Ren Feng was enraged when he got the box containing his wife's skull in the letter and dashed off to assault Yi Dao. The death match between Yi Dao and Miao Ren Feng was unavoidable the next day. They began coughing up blood from the poison in their respective swords in the middle of the combat. In their present situation, they knew that they had been framed and that King Gui Nong's troops had poisoned their swords. Bai's party set fire to the whole village building and slaughtered the residents in the evening in order to retrieve the key to the box and treasure map that Yi Dao had concealed. They looked everywhere, but they couldn't discover the key to the chest or the treasure map. Dao Bai, who was disappointed, released his rage by chopping off Bao Shu's male pupil hand, Lao Sai. Following that, Bao Shu and Tao Bai sent their pupil to locate the chest key and treasure map in the snow wilderness. However, due to the dense fog that blanketed the snow forest, their company was unable to locate the two valuable relics. After the next 10 years, that iron box is still there. Next, there is a small desert land to eat at a nearby shop. A sound that can be transmitted by anyone outside looking at the dead body. Here we see some great fights with street robbers. The arduous quest for the treasure map was eventually revealed, and they were able to recover the treasure map from a bunch of street robbers. Giyu, Tao Bai's new male student, battled the bandits alone right away. With his fighting and sword abilities, he could badly harm scores of robbers. Soon after, Qing Wen, a female student of Bao Shu, arrived with Yinjie, a male student of Tao Bai, to assist Giyu in fighting the robbers. Giyu noticed in the middle of the conflict that the treasure map had been stolen by a robber on horseback. Fortunately, he was able to catch up with the criminals and retrieve the treasure map. Giyu went to King Guinong in the evening to assault the treasure map he had been hunting for years. After obtaining the treasure map, King Guinong smiled and proclaimed that whomever found the riches would be paid handsomely the title of Marquis. The title Marquis was a peerage that could be carried down from generation to generation for officials who safeguarded the country. The next day, Bao Shu and Tao Bai go out to gather treasure with their pupil. Tao Bai traveled with 4 pupils, Yanji, Giyu, Zhou Yunyang, and Zheng Niang, while Bao Shu went with 2 classmates, Qing Wen and Laosei. They slept in an inn after walking through the forest for many hours, recharging their batteries. Laosei looked dissatisfied in the middle of the meal since the group assigned to protect the treasure map was Tao Bai's. Even though Bao Shu's gang had not seen the treasure map, they had no idea where they were going. When the male servant at the inn heard about the riches, he approached Tao Bai and claimed that it would be difficult to discover the treasure since there were flying foxes defending the snow mountains. The elderly servant also said that no one could return safely from the snow mountain because the flying fox protecting it was the reincarnation of Yi Dao's soul. Tao Bai instantly seized the old servant's neck and threatened him with revealing the whereabouts of the treasure box key. According to the information he had acquired, the treasure chest key was buried at the inn. However, when the elderly servant refused to tell him anything, he savagely sliced the old man's neck until he died. Following that, Bao Shu directed his students to disperse in search of the treasure box key. Yin Ji discovered a particular key that was usually found during the age of ancient Chinese dynasties during the search, and after extracting the key, he discovered the treasure chest key in a secret locker. He appeared pleased that he had discovered the treasure box key, but his joy was short-lived as Guiyu assaulted him with a piece of wood. When Guiyu murdered Jinny, Qing Wen appeared behind Guiyu and observed everything. The scene shifts back in time to when Guiyu was still working as a gold miner in a cave. At that time, he managed to find some small nugget of gold and intended to keep the gold for himself. However, because the theft was discovered by a guard, he was sentenced to a torture chair. Guiyu was chained to a chair with ropes around his neck, and the guards would pull the ropes until his neck was choked every time. He denied his acts. Fortunately, he was able to break free from the rope and beat off the guards, allowing him to flee the scene. Guiyu noticed an abandoned cabin and chose to hide within it after escaping pretty far from the gold mining location. He met Qing Wen for the first time there. Then she invited Guiyu to join the collegiate group that Baoshu was leading. Guiyu first declined the invitation because he did not want to cooperate with anybody else, but when the gold mining horse guards arrived, he eagerly accepted the offer. After hearing his agreement to join, Qing Wen immediately helped him by killing the horseman. After bringing Guiyu in front of Baoshu, Qing Wen commanded Guiyu to kill Qing Wen while brandishing a blade at Guiyu. Instead of killing the person who had aided him before, Guiyu opted to stab his own body with the dagger after hearing the instruction. Following the event, Baoshu directed Qing Wen to treat him quickly and handed him over to Taobai. The scene shifts back to the inn, where everyone has assembled in one room to figure out who killed Jinny. Taobai suspected Guiyu right away since he was the first to discover Jinny's body. But Baoshu immediately changed the subject by saying that finding out who killed Jinny was not important because they had already managed to find the treasure chest key they had been looking for all along. After Jinny dies, their team turns into 7. Guiyu approached Taobai right away after the other members had left the room and informed her that it was highly likely that Jinny had been killed by the flying fox scouting the snow mountains. Because their party was now searching for treasure in the snow mountains, Guiyu reasoned that Jinny's death was likely an attempt by the flying fox to split up their group. After hearing that explanation, Dao Bai gave him the order to kidnap the key to the treasure box from Bao Shu's gang and explained that Qing Wen didn't reveal the identity of the person who killed Jinny because he had also been part in the scheme to kill Jinny. To ensure that the other members wouldn't suspect them, Qing Wen and Guiyu even cooperated to tidy up the area. Without Taobai's knowledge, Guiyu met Baoshu and Qing Wen on the hill in the evening. It comes out that Guiyu has intentions to reveal them to Taobai as well as the identity of the person who gave Baoshu the treasure map. Guiyu was given the task of killing Zhao Yunyang by Baoshu after he informed him that Zhao Yunyang was the one who had brought the key. To show that Guiyu had joined Baoshu's gang, Qing Wen handed him a necklace from his adoptive father before she and Baoshu departed. The following day, Taobai's group and Baoshu's group continued their trek through the Snow Mountains forest. Taobai purposefully inserted his knife into a tree trunk as a marker before entering the jungle to ensure their safety. But after spending several hours trudging through the wilderness, they kept coming across the same path. Soon later, a dense fog covered the area, preventing them from seeing one another. When Zhao Yunyang broke away from the group, Guiyu approached Zhao and launched a frontal assault on him, making a battle between the two men inevitable. Guiyu and Zhao engaged in a very intense battle before Guiyu hopped onto a rock and swung his sword to kill Zhao. The mist began to clear, and Baoshu, Qing Wen, and Laosei appeared and walked over to Guiyu. Guiyu then gave the treasure map he had stolen from Zhao to Baoshu while claiming that Taobai was the only one to have selected the antidote since he had been poisoned by Zhao. But Baoshu didn't care about that because the treasure map was the only thing that interested him. Baoshu, Qing Wen, Laosei, and Guiyu reached a dead end covered with animal bone skeletons after following the path on the map. Guiyu hastily took the priceless necklace from Baoshu's neck when the latter turned to inquire about the veracity of the map. Taobai, Zhen Niang, and Zhao, who appeared to be still alive, stood there and watched all of this from the top of the cliff as hundreds of hyenas approached them. Zhao was still alive because Taobai suddenly emerged and parried the sword as Guiyu was about to slay Zhao. Taobai placed poison in his mouth as soon as he noticed that Guiyu was disappointed by his treachery. Tao Bai gave Giyu a chance to give Baoshu a fake map and snatch the treasure key from Baoshu within 4 hours of getting the antidote from him. The scene returns to the hyena abyss where Baoshu and the others struggled desperately to escape from the hyena's pursuit. Weiyu, Qingwen, and Laosei are able to elude the hyena's chase, but Baoshu was unable to do the same since he was suddenly cornered by 3 of them. Baoshu was being ripped to pieces by the hyenas when Giyu and the others made the decision to depart. Then, after seeing this, Tao Bai gave Xing the order to go after Guiyu's gang and steal the treasure box key from them. Zhou was tasked with pursuing Qin Wen and Giyu. Laosei was pursued by Tao Bai. In the midst of the jungle, Tao Bai and Laosei got into a battle after Laosei abruptly assaulted him from behind. Laosei declared he intended to get revenge on Tao Bai for cutting off his limb 10 years prior to the commencement of the battle. He is currently planning to murder Tao Bai using the new limb he recently received from a skilled healer. Laosei's martial abilities were, regrettably, significantly inferior than Tao Bai's, therefore the latter was able to defeat Laosei and end his life. The treasure key was in Guiyu's hands, he said, as he emerged from behind Laosei, who was still hunting for the key in his clothing. Giyu murdered Tao Bai with his sword right away as he was going to grab the key from him. Tao Bai became perplexed by Guiyu's employer and astonished by his conduct. On the other hand, Zhao was still chasing Qing Wen until he finally managed to find and catch her. But because he is fascinated by her beauty, he plans to harm her rather than kill her. When Zhao was caught off guard, Qin Wen took advantage of the chance to paralyze him with the venomous insect she was in control of, killing him swiftly with her knife. Soon after, Zheng descended from the top of the tree with the intent of killing Qin Wen, sparking an intense struggle between them. She was unable to move because he was able to capture her with razor-sharp threads that could wrap around her body. Fortunately, Guiyu made it just in time and quickly cut all the ropes, allowing Qin Wen to escape. After a short fight, he finally managed to get Zheng into a corner and used the opportunity to stab his body with a sword. As he was ready to pass away, Guiyu revealed his actual identity to Zheng. Guiyu described himself as a flying fox that frequently explored the snow mountains. Hu Fei is his actual name. He is Yi Dao's biological son, and with the help of the keys and treasure maps, he managed to flee the commotion in the hamlet and make it to the icy mountains. Before he ultimately recovers the treasure map, the scene briefly depicts Guiyu paying a bunch of robbers to keep the map. He had also deliberately kept the treasure chest key inside and so the other members wouldn't get suspicious. Guiyu was able to save Qing Wen from Zheng, but immediately after that, Bao Shu assaulted him. Bao Shu kept a centipede in his body that could cure his wounds, and it came out that this is how he was able to survive and return back to life. Guiyu and Bao Shu had just finished fighting when Qing Wen suddenly stabbed Guiyu and shoved him till he fell into the chasm. She then gave Bao Shu the key and treasure map, and he appeared appreciative of her commitment. Bao Shu and Qing Wen eventually reached the site of the treasure in the evening after traveling the path shown on the map. Bao Shu instantly fitted the treasure key into the keyhole on the cave wall after entering it. Soon after, the snow within the cave started to avalanche, and a powerful wind blew from outside the cave, allowing him to view every piece of gold hidden beneath the ice floor. Qing Wen then told Bao Shu that he would not be able to take the gold because if he broke the gold floor, he would fall into the abyss with the gold. Qing Wen could tell because she had come to that place with Guiyu. As soon as Qing Wen informed Bao Shu of this, she stabbed him with a poisoned blade, rendering him limp and causing him to cough up blood. Shortly after, Giyu sprung into view in front of Bao Shu and slashed at him with his sword till he was nearly killed. After that, Giyu used explosives to make Bao Shu fall into the pit containing the riches, killing him. It came out that Qing Wen had only claimed to murder Giyu so they could immediately trap and execute Bao Shu. Since Qing Wen was Miao Rifeng's daughter, she was eager to assist Giyu. The two of them had planned everything from the start in order to be able to exact revenge on those who had slain their parents. Qing Wen and Guiyu executed their last strategy that evening by employing Qing Wen's toxic bug to assassinate King Guinong. Qing Wen and Guiyu successfully exact revenge on their parents, passing in the movie's conclusion. The lesson that may be drawn from this movie is that greed can lead to even worse catastrophes. Then we see that they had delivered the box to the king. The king was pleased to see the box in their hands and hurried to open it. However, as we can see, the box is entirely full of fireflies. What happened next was not shown. The fireflies of our hero are come to spoil everything. In this scene, the presence is for the death of their parents, because this king is involved in the murder of their parents, and he is also a fraud. It may have been explained that the two of them may have killed the king here. The ruler of our country has come here to die for it. Finally, king has been directly associated. And that's it, this beautiful movie ends here. So, how do you like the movie? Tell me in the comment section and don't forget to subscribe our channel. See you next time.